Here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna talk about who's gonna win E3 this year, and we are not including Nintendo. Why?
Why is that?
Why is that? Nintendo, your presence will not be missed.
No, they're going to be at Best Buy.
Oh yes,
the block from the convention center.
They're going to be at 80 Best Buys. If you want to try out Nintendo's E3 lineup, check out one of the participating Best Buy stores, and you can actually play. I mean, in all seriousness, this is actually a pretty cool thing. It is pretty cool.
There's none in New York City.
So
your argument has now been invalidated.
Well, it's cool for the people who live around one of these Best Buy areas.
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, the Best Buy,
like the Guam of Jersey.
the Best Buy in Long Island City will be participating. That is the closest one to us. As a former Best Buy employee, I can give you lots of reasons why that doesn't make sense, but I'm not going to. But in any case, that is their E3 showcase. Microsoft and Sony, however, will be sticking to the tried and true press conference that we all love to sit down and see. So what we're going to talk about first is Microsoft versus Sony. The Xbox One versus the PS4. And I want to hear the points of views from you both first. Which one is going to have the better showing at E3?
It's a paddle question. A paddle?
It's not, but you can hold it if you want.
PS4.
Those are yours now. You can take them back. You can take them home.
Yeah,
right?
PS4 for both camps.
Sony,
PS4. Why?
I feel like Microsoft is putting in too much effort to make their console more about like everyday use, like a family thing, or like incorporating TV and fantasy football, which I have no care in the world for.
Who does?
Does anybody in this room?
Amen to that.
But I'm just saying, like, they're a gaming console. I wish they would try to beef up their, specs as opposed to the content more towards gaming content as well. But while Sony is really focusing on the gamer, which I really like about them.
And it is really all about the software. And I think this is one of our biggest gripes about E3 last year was where are the games?
Don't remind me.
Where are the games?
We'll get to that.
We will get to that.
Wintergore, your thoughts on the PS4 and Sony in general?
Well, Sony have done very well in the recent sort of their press announcement. They're quite. A lot of people say would the hype have been different if they'd have went after Microsoft, and I think it'd be exactly the same really. I mean, if you look at the highlights video for the Xbox One, it's television, college.
It's all just television, TV, television.
It's everything you can do with
Halo
it.
TV,
that's
yeah.
not gaming.
Yeah.
It's they assume this is for gaming. Let's show you everything else. No, we still want to see what it does
I want
for
to
the
see the
games.
actual games, please.
So, what about the Xbox One though? Is it something that do you think the PS4 will be better simply comparatively, or are you not looking forward to the Xbox One whatsoever?
I mean, I still need to see what they have to say, but as of now, with their press conference, I like how PS4 was presented. It felt gamer oriented as opposed to Xbox, which I was like, is this really targeted towards me anymore?
And for the on the spec side of things, in terms of hardware, for the ones which have actually been released, the PS4, for example, for their DDR, the RAM, they were very lucky in that they originally planned to have 2 gigabytes in there. For anyone that doesn't know, that's basically the memory, which is the used for operations on the system. They originally planned to have 2 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM in it, which would have been, in comparison to the Xboxes, they just were we need 8 gigabytes,
right.
We're going to have DDR3, which is obviously the older RAM. Sony got very lucky in that the price of RAM dropped so much that they basically announced, we'll have 4 gigabytes because it's within our budget now, and then it's been bumped up to 8 gigabytes now, which means obviously there's a difference in terms of what it can actually do. And apparently, according to the differences between the graphics processing or something like that, in terms of what obviously the PS4 can do compared to the Xbox One, it's a lot of people who looked up at the specs in the comparisons have said that the PS4 is 50% better in terms of graphics, which means you'll see a lot of games being
which surprises nobody.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of games being slightly higher resolution, or one of the better things would be a lot of games in 60 FPS 1080p, where I know the Xbox One will have a lot of games except from Call of Duty, which they make it a standard to run at 60 FPS for competitive gaming. They'll have a lot more games which are kind of 1080p 30 FPS.
And it goes without saying that in all likeliness, the PS4 can probably do everything that the Xbox One can do.
Yeah.
They're just not putting that out there because they're focusing on what is most important. And then I do agree with you both. I am looking more forward to Sony and PS4 for that exact reason. And no matter what new piece of technology may come out, it is the software, it is the content that drives the desire and even the need for these consoles. And I think I'm not going out on a limb here saying that you feel the same way.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Xbox One, the name itself kind of reminds me of... Because I call my classic Xbox the Xbox One. Now I have the Xbox 360 and my Xbox One. Okay, now the new one's called Xbox One, and it also looks like an old VCR. So I think the design of it and the name for, like, parents who are buying it for their kids may be kind of, well, we have a PS4, it sounds more current, it may look better than the PS3. So I think, first of all, the name and the design, they kind of just totally dropped the ball on that in Microsoft's court.
Although I do like that some people are referring to the Xbox One as the Xbox Uno.
On the
Xbox
That's
Uno, great,
too.
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make it sound any better. But, I mean.
But to go back to their press conference, which I felt that I'm not even sure if they would have had that if Sony didn't have one first. Do you think they would have had their own conference if they didn't lead the charge, Sony, in February this year?
Are you asking, do I think would the conference have been the same? Would they have
No,
focused on the same
would they have
things
done it
at all? Yeah, I do think they would have had one. I mean, I think that kind of goes without saying is that, I mean, there was a lot more pressure kind of on Microsoft about breaking their silence, even
look,
before
there was no
happened.
real games were shown. It was all about, again, the TV and the Halo TV series and fantasy football and this thing that's just for your multimedia center, but nothing concrete about the system itself.
They had the one big game. And I'm not saying that from my perspective. I'm saying that from what they
the one big game.
Honestly, I'm sure believe would have sealed the whole deal for them, which was the Call of Duty Ghosts.
Yeah, but that's going to be on PS4 as well.
Exactly, but they
not much of a get for Microsoft.
But they want to push the fact that they still remain the primary system for the Call of Duty experience because all of the DLCs will be coming out first on Xbox One. They announced that at the press conference. That's a big point for them and for the competitive scene. I'm not saying that's going to buy me. And that's certainly not buying you.
The frat boys. It's fantasy and Call of Duty,
which is always
fantasy football and Call of Duty.
Which has always been kind of what like as you refer to them as Xbox kids, kind of gravitate to, and that's just another example of a mistake they're making by staying on that focus. That was the gaming focus that we got. That was the software focus we got from Microsoft. Here's Call of Duty Ghosts. It's like they're repeating all of the same mistakes. And for that reason, I definitely think PS4 will not only have a better E3, but will be the more successful system in the future, especially with rumors that the PS4 might actually be $50 cheaper than the Xbox One when it comes out. Not confirmed, of course. However, it's interesting to think about that when you consider the PS3 when it first came out. It was like $600.
Yeah.
It's like, who the hell is going to buy this? And the Xbox 360 was like, I believe it started at $400, but it very quickly dropped.
Yeah.
And when
it's all those red rings of death.
and when that dropped, the PS3 rather remained at their initial price. I didn't even pick one up until 2008.
I actually bought a Xbox first because it's all I could afford. And I was that old.
Yeah, I know for a lot of gamers as well, the problem with the PlayStation 3 when it released was basically, I know myself and a lot of my friends were like, obviously, I was a lot younger then when it originally released, like 7-8 years ago, something like that, is it? I think.
8 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
When that came out, was that
I was a teenager back then.
You got like the mic in the box with it, which meant that we could all get online, start talking to each other. With the PS3, you didn't get the mic and you had to buy it separately. Which the bundling it in now with the PS4, it's one of the things they said it's going
definitely coming with.
And the only thing that I didn't like about the PlayStation in terms of like sort of the social side was that the Xbox had like the party systems. You could talk to people easily across games, whereas in the PlayStation it seemed a bit like a lot more complicated to set.
I always felt that way, honestly, about the PS3, and the only real experience I had with that was the little Bluetooth communicator, which I was happy to find out also worked for my phone, and that's actually what I used it more for because it did seem very complicated. And the only time that I really experienced this was when I was playing Killzone. I'm a very big Killzone fan, and that's a PlayStation exclusive. So I'm like, all right, let me try this out. It wasn't really as smooth as it might have been, just because I was used to, chatting in groups and chatting during games on the Xbox 360 already, as it is my online gaming console of choice.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to, in the new generation, just the PS4 is just like cleaning up everything, like being the game console that people go to for their online gaming, their exclusives, and even everything that the Xbox One can do. I'm sure it'll have some kind of fantasy football, but they're just not going to put it out there in front of everybody.
It'll be there. I mean, I think like with Sony, like they've been fostering like a lot of indie games to their console. I like the idea of like having your friend take over a game for you if you're stuck at a difficult point, or just like having them watch while you're playing, because that goes against the PS3, where it was, again, difficult to get like group settings or party going. Now it looks way more inviting for other players to kind of join in and be part of the fun.
Indeed. So then, PS4 all around.
I think unanimous PS4 all around.
Sounds unanimous.
Sony paddle if I had one.
Sony. We can edit that in later, Sony. But
and yet we're playing our games on an Xbox.
Yes, we are.
Okay. I find that very amusing.
We are eclectic.
In the comments now. Xboxes.
That means like we're not really like I'm not like partial to any. It's just so happened that everything that's been coming out is I'm preferring the PS4, not being like a fanboy of either. So we're not like opinionated where like some of my friends are like Xbox all the way.
Oh no, it's like we have our set of data and based on what we've seen.
Based on what it is, I can't fanboy like
and
that.
As far as this generation that we're still in goes, I think it's safe to assume that we all have played on both systems extensively.
Yeah.
So that came about long after it was decided, well, which system is superior. And we got to the point where it was like, well, we each played the PlayStation 3 for this reason, and we played the Xbox for this reason. Yeah. And that's what's going to happen with the new generation. It's going to take a little bit of time before people really see the value in both. Yeah. So, like, right off the bat, we're all PS4, but I'm sure a year or two down the line, Xbox One will have its functions. Yeah. And I don't doubt that. But right now, Sony all the way. So, somewhat related, since we're talking about those two systems, the interesting idea of hardware versus software is a little different this year, because the hardware are new consoles. It's not like, hey, here's the Kinect, and we're like, we don't care. Here's the Alumaroom. What the hell is that? The Sony Move. I don't even want to talk about that. Exactly. And like, always announcing these like new little hardware innovations that nobody cares about. But this year, we care about it. But
do we?
Is it still, well, I mean, if you want to keep going on and playing into the next generation, then you do care about it. But ultimately, in the scope of hardware versus software, does the fact that the hardware this year are new consoles change what you want to see?
Well, let's look at the Wii U for a minute.
Do we have to?
We must. It's a brand new console, and yet there's no software for it. This is our first next generation console on the market, and yet I don't see why many would want to own one, aside for like maybe 2 or 3 stellar games.
Tell us why you own one, Andy.
Because I'm a sucker and I like to buy all the new gadgets. I'm an early adopter. I'll admit that. But yeah, I mean, I have a soft spot for Nintendo in my heart because I grew up as a Nintendo boy, but it's sort of gathering dust amongst my Xbox and PS3.
So you opened it?
Yeah, I've opened it. I played Zombie U.
Okay.
Which
I heard is actually not bad.
Yeah, it's actually a really good game. But I don't see myself, with where it stands now, again, it's a matter of the software. It could be like this much more better than a PS3 or an Xbox 360. Like the Arkham City port that was released. Like, I'm not going to buy that.
No.
I've already played it on Xbox.
Yeah.
And, okay, so it looks a little bit better, and there's like weird, wonky, new touchpad controls. Yeah, it's not a selling point for me. I want to see original content. I want to see, Mario, Zelda, Metroid, things like of that nature. But Nintendo just doesn't know what it takes to really, get their core audience happy. And
so, do you feel the same way about the PS4 and the Xbox One?
I think Sony has it down because they're actually addressing, by not showing the actual console itself, they're saying, here's our games. Here's a new Infamous game. here's an original game by the makers of, what was that one? It was like a weird robot thing that they showed.
That narrows it down.
Like a little thing that other things go on it. Right? It's like a gold-plated Toblerone kind of a thing.
Sounds like
Now
interesting.
you really lost us. Gold-plated Toblerone.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure that is a thing.
It exists. It exists.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
But so you definitely feel that hyping.
Oh,
up,
they showed that Capcom game with the Panther Ray engine.
Yes.
What was it called again?
I don't remember, but
Deep Down?
I
Called Deep Down?
I looked at it just the other day actually, and I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But so the idea of introducing the software first is pretty much telling people, here's what you want, and then you break out the PS4. Here's what you have to get to play it on.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the smart way to go?
I
mean-
think it is.
They showed us like the basic consoles like infrastructure, and they showed us some games. What more do we need to go on? Not just here. It can work like a TV.
Yeah, exactly. Like the content that they're showing us is something I'm very interested, especially since we are gamers, and later showing the hardware, like their controller. I think they addressed like my qualms about their controllers because I felt like their controller didn't feel like I felt like I could break it.
That is a sexy ass controller,
Yeah,
by the way.
It is.
That is a
they-
really
like,
nice looking
It
piece
is.
of
It's
hardware.
very
I
sleek.
can trust
Yeah.
Sony with their designs because they're very, futuristic, and I don't know what happened to Xbox when they showed their stuff.
And it's
I
funny.
feel like they went backwards.
It is funny to note that everything about the look of the Xbox One, including its controller, looks very like I won't say antiquated, but
Even its name
it
is
is
antiquated.
it is a bit of a regression.
Yeah.
And I mean, I honestly think that just by looking at it, like I never held one in my hand, so I can't confirm this. It looks as big as the original Xbox,
Oh god.
and that was enormous. I mean, like that you could definitely cause some serious blunt force trauma, more so than this little laptop that you have in front of you here, Andy.
Probably.
But so no matter what, I think it's safe to say that software rules the day for all of us, and no matter how great a system is or even how necessary a system is to play in a lot of these titles, no one's gonna buy a PS4 off the bat. Maybe except for people like you. And I'm not saying I'm not saying this as a jab.
No, someone has to.
But
Someone's gotta do
Guinea
it.
pig.
exactly. And
Yeah.
like, I mean, that's why you got the Wii U. And
Yeah.
honestly, the world needs people like you.
And I don't regret it, honestly. I mean,
That's
I
good.
like having it. I mean, I know eventually I'll get games for it.
Maybe.
2 or
Somewhere
3,
down the
maybe.
line, yeah.
I'll
You're lucky.
I'll get Pikmin 3. That's
When's that coming out?
Good.
That was during last year's E3.
I'll get a new Animal
I
Crossing.
feel like they're gonna come out with something else, another console, like maybe a Wii U. I don't know, 0.5.
the Ouya 2.
And no, it's gonna have a bigger screen because Nintendo's really good at making you buy the console again.
Yeah, a bigger touchpad.
So here's the new Wii U
a bigger
controller.
touchpad XL.
And then it has a camera so you can take pictures.
But there are no games for it still.
But it's bigger, so it
Yeah,
must be
exactly,
better.
exactly.
Ah.
But people still bought it. Like even when the DS XL came out, people still bought it. I'm like, but you have this.
Look at the Game Boy Advance, and then the Game Boy Advance SP.
Yeah.
Backlight has light now. I gotta buy
Yeah.
another one.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I'm sorry. But in any
No,
case,
that is a dick move, my friend. No backlight. Are you fucking shitting me?
hey, we're
And
not,
then you add backlight.
we're not talking about Apple here, okay? With these business practices. But so, actually, that's a very good segue into what we're going to do next, since software does rule the day for all of us. What titles are we looking forward to seeing at E3? Now, I mean, this could be ones that we have heard nothing about that we're just hoping shows up, has a debut trailer. Or it could be one that we've seen a lot of that we just want to see more about. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the panel. We're going to start with Wintergore. I want you to tell me one game. I think I have an idea what it's going to be. I think
you're gonna be surprised.
I mean, we're gonna get 2 choices, so you're gonna get to score both of them.
If you're right, you get a surprise.
Oh yeah. so give us one. What are you looking forward to seeing at E3?
Does this have to be strictly gameplay, or can it be in terms of?
It can be a gameplay. It could be just a cinematic. It could be a dev interview.
As you guys may know, Disney recently granted EA the rights to the Star Wars licenses.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be talking about Star Wars games, and one of the most requested games, which they were also kind of had in like an early alpha stage and they've shown footage of, was the Battlefront series, which is very much like Battlefield. I played the Battlefront 2 religiously when I was a kid. It was one of my favourite games, probably one of my all-time favourites, to be honest. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what they actually announce in terms of Star Wars at the event. There's a lot of buzz around Battlefront, which hopefully they'll announce Battlefront 3 is in the making, or indeed another like Republic Commando game. So that's definitely one of the games.
Would if that happens, would that be its world premiere? Like, is there any information on that title as it stands?
The only information was that when basically the studio was shut down, they had an early alpha version of the game which looked absolutely amazing. The gameplay style of it looked a lot like Battlefield in terms of there's a huge kind of openness to the combat, and there's that many vehicles obviously from the Star Wars universe. There's air combat, space battles, and obviously ground battles in the game, which all kind of has like a Battlefield theme to it, which, because it's EA, they'll hopefully get, like, for example, a DICE team or even like the Medal of Honor team.
There'll be a lot of shared components, I'm sure.
One of the things I'm kind of thinking is that the Medal of Honor team was recently, the Medal of Honor series was kind of cancelled from EA. It's not in the early running anymore, so that kind of leaves them open. Hopefully their team will pick up, like, for example, a Star Wars game, which would be really cool to see.
And that does not upset me at all. I will just say that the Medal of Honor news, it's for the best. Especially if they can focus their attention on a new Battlefront game. I think that would be better for everybody. Alymew, what are you looking forward to at E3?
Destiny.
Destiny.
Ooh.
Tell us about Destiny.
Destiny's being made by Bungie, which I love so much, and being published by Activision, which is really interesting.
That is an interesting partnership there.
But I think with Activision, they're going to get so much, like, much more PR going to be on your face, and you're going to see it everywhere. The way they haven't really talked about how it's going to be, but I feel like it's like an FPS MMORPG kind of game, and it's futuristic. All I know is the way they explained it is that you're going to be, like, kind of, like, thinking about it even when you're at work. You know, they showed, the devs had, like, their iPhone, and you can have your app, you can tell your group, get on tonight and see your character and, like, just see stuff, and I don't know, it just looks like a world I can get lost in, especially since I'm, you know, heavily based in FPS, and, you know, MMORPGs are, like, kind of new to me, but
it's a good way to ease you into that, because you're going from shooter to hybrid, and then maybe that'll push you into MMO. So I have a question. You mentioned FPS massively multiplayer, which there is a game currently out that is exactly that. And I'm actually curious. Have you played Defiance?
No, I haven't.
And I actually think it's because I love the show, but like I haven't played the game. I don't think you have.
I've played it several times.
Well, have you?
Yes.
Oh, good.
It's actually pretty good.
Well, that's good, because I was just gonna mention how like poorly it seems to be doing.
No, it's a really good game. It's definitely like a diamond in the rough, I would say.
So well, hopefully Destiny will be able to take that formula and like really kind of shove it into the mainstream. I would love to see that flourish. So Destiny, Andy.
I'm a little torn.
Well, you get two, so pick one.
Oh, I get two? Great.
We get two.
I want to say The Last Guardian.
Oh, Andy.
It'd be remiss of me. I mean, on behalf of myself and our fellow writer, Justin Bellin, who couldn't be here today because he's on his honeymoon. Yeah, congratulations, buddy.
Enjoy Madagascar.
It's just been so long since you've heard anything about this game. I mean, they've confirmed it. We're working on it. There were some problems.
We promise.
Don't worry, it's still alive. Don't worry, it's not canceled yet. I don't care if it's a PS4 launch title. I just want to see anything about this game.
What if it's an iOS game?
I will stab you in the eyes. I will cut your throat.
So explain a little bit about why we are coveting any kind of semblance.
Have you not played Ico or Shadow of the Colossus?
Absolutely. But, I mean, I'm saying not for me because I'm right with you, but I, however, was not going to say that because I have my doubts it'll show up at E3.
No, it has to. It just has to. There's no way it can't be there.
We've said that years past.
If it isn't there, it's dead. That's it. This will confirm it.
I mean,
this will confirm it.
I love Shadow of the Colossus. I love Ico. I think a lot of us do. However, I think there is a tear between the fan base of, okay, we can't wait for The Last Guardian, and then the other one's going, it's never coming.
Because it just seems like it won't ever come ever. I mean, it's been I would say, in upwards of 6 years since we saw that first E3 trailer. And ever since, I'm like, oh my god, this looks fucking unbelievable. It's like, it's the best parts of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, like, all wrapped into one. Like, I want this game right now. And it's on on a PS2 where it can actually handle the graphics and the frame rate. Because, what you call it? Shadow of the Colossus was a little choppy.
Yes,
at
but
points.
forgivable.
But it's just, and this is a brilliant team, and it's been too long. It's been way too long. I just want to see just like a little iota of information, like a screenshot. Show me a screenshot. I'll be fine.
I'll draw you the big
No,
Falcor
I
looking
want to
thing.
see your drawings.
So all right,
I thought you drew Skyrim, or you drew like the whole map of something
I think that helped
from memory.
I think that helped all of
You
us.
big dork.
Yes, it wasn't just Skyrim. I drew a map of Tamriel.
All right, stop talking.
But in any case, all right. My first one is going to be. It's going to be Metal Gear Solid 5, and this is a series that I have absolutely loved and adored, and have
Wait,
gone on.
which game? The Phantom Pain or Ground Zeroes?
Well,
Are they the same?
that's a very good question,
Yeah.
Andy. That is a very good question. However, from what we've seen Metal Gear Solid 5 and the Phantom Pain in the same trailer. We have seen that. We have not seen Ground Zeroes really mounted on any concrete footage or anything whatsoever. So who knows where Hideo Kojima's crazy mind is going with this.
He's a crazy mofo, right?
He is a crazy mofo, but here's the thing. He is a brilliant, crazy mofo. So no matter what it looks like on either side, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. And that whole thing way back when where he was trolling everybody with the whole, like, oh, the Phantom Pain and Joachim Mogren and, like, this guy showing up and, like bandages on his face or
Yeah,
something
with like
like
blonde
that.
hair or some shit
Yeah,
like that.
and everybody is sitting there going, I'm not fooled by this. And yet in the back of their mind, they're going, what is this?
Which makes you wonder, do you think this whole David Hayter not being the
You think
voice of
that's a
Snake
troll?
is just
Yeah,
all
a
bullshit?
troll, yeah.
I think at this point we're a little too deep into that, like that news for it to be a troll. I mean,
I don't know. It's Kojima. I mean, he did hide right from the whole world until the game came out.
Granted, but I mean, I think this might be a little more concrete than anything
I
else.
don't know.
I mean,
I would
would
wouldn't
love.
put it past him.
I-
I wouldn't put it past him.
I would love it if that's the case. Because, I mean, like, as much as a chance that I would give whoever his new voice actor would be,
Kiefer Sutherland.
just we'll check this out before the end of this podcast. We will. But I would love for David Hayter to come back because he is Solid Snake, and I have gone on record saying that when they do, if they have to make a Metal Gear Solid movie, David Hayter could even play Solid Snake because
Have you seen Guyver 2? The man's amazing.
it's not that far of a stretch, appearance-wise, and he's got the voice, so I mean, make it happen. But in any case, Metal Gear Solid 5 is going to be awesome, and I'm expecting for them. I'm not expecting gameplay, not quite yet. I am, however, expecting to see another extensive cinematic trailer that's going to take us out of this like ER setting that the Phantom
I
Pain
think they
was.
sort of have to show gameplay at this point.
You really think so?
I mean, the Fox engine has to be shown past the point of cinematics. We've seen like the live demo running on a computer. I want to see it now on on a console. Show me some menus. Show me how the game actually works. Show me a UI.
But are they there yet?
Been long enough.
Are they there yet? Like,
They better be there. They better fucking be there.
Yeah. And Wintergore, give us another title that you're looking forward to.
Oh, well, the
You
other
can
one
fill
would
this.
obviously
You can fill this one in with that.
Battlefield 4. There we go.
Of course, Battlefield 4.
Yeah, Battlefield 4. They're definitely showing gameplay. Your playable demos at E3. That's already been confirmed. Which is partly why I booked in for Cologne because I couldn't make E3, so I just wanted to play the game badly. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to that. I actually went to Sweden as part of the announcement event, which was really cool. We got to see like the engine, what that's capable of. One of the things that they've kind of upgraded is like kind of the same as Ubisoft. They have a lot of titles working under them on the Frostbite engine or using parts of the Frostbite engine. For example, with their, I think EA does FIFA, right? Is it, or is it? I think either do FIFA. Yeah, I think FIFA. They took the animation system that you created for FIFA to make all of the animations very smooth. as obviously it's a sports game, and they put that into Battlefield 4 for Frostbite, and they've also added like the weather effects and a bunch of other stuff. I'm still excited to see kind of what gadgets they add in, because they always have these really unique gadgets that often they usually interact with the environment. For example, they added in the original Battlefield Bad Company, they added kind of Call of Duty did have Predator missiles that you could call in, but on that Battlefield Bad Company 1 you could kind of lock onto things and bring them in. And there's all the way through to like Battlefield 3 where you've got like the little LED bot Wally guy, which they added in, which was
Love those little
not
guys.
particularly useful, but it does have some uses on the game.
And you have a video explaining the things that you would like to see in Battlefield 4 based on the single player. You want just run down like one or two of those that you want to see.
Well, the big one that I did, I basically went on the forums, I went on Reddit, and I also asked my subscribers in an earlier video to give me some kind of feedback on what they wanted to see, and I created a huge like community feedback video. My main one is, as an editor, like a video creator, would be a battle recorder, because that's like the ultimate sort of editing suite. I only have to do something once, which in the Go Olympics like series was terrible because it took me 4 hours to do something, because I had to repeat a shot if you get it wrong. With like 64 people in it is very frustrating. So being able to record an entire match and then view something amazing, for example, like the most famous clip on Battlefield is a render zook where a guy bails out of a jet with a sniper rifle, and there's a jet chasing him. He snipes the guy out of the jet and then gets back into his jet.
That's a 1 in a million shot right there.
Being able to view that like live in a game, kind of like how Halo has it, where you can just review
Go
any
back.
game.
Even Call of Duty has a theater mode,
Right.
so you can just watch back your clip.
Being able to do that on Battlefield would be basically like, it'd be a standard really for even competitive, because it's the easiest way to tell if someone's hacking in the game.
That's a very good point.
Spectator plus competitive as well. I know some modders have added in like the free camera tool, which I've used in like a few videos as well, and there's even one for the competitive scene now, which they use to kind of spectate the game, but it's still a bit buggy. So definitely spectator and the battle recorder if possible. And other than that, just looking forward to the new gadgets really.
Very awesome, very awesome. Game number 2, Alymew.
Game
Haha,
that-
see what I did there. Okay, go.
The game that I've
So
never
clever.
heard anything about is Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh.
You know, I was gonna say that you look like a Kingdom Hearts fan.
I am a Kingdom Hearts fan. I grew up on it, and I'm surprised nothing has come out except all these weird side shit on the PS, on the DS.
The DS.
What's happening? And then
Which-
1.5.
Which somebody booked
don't like-
me
you
for
don't like-
during PAX East.
You don't like Birth by Sleep? You don't like 300 and whatever the hell's by 2 days?
369
I don't know.
over
I just
2.63
feel like they're
Halo
milking
Red.
their franchise so dry. Like I really want to sit down, big TV, nice campaign, and cry my tears out at the end of the cutscenes.
With another Utada song.
Yes,
Oh my
please.
god, so
How
good.
long has it actually been since they released the cinematic trailer, which looked awesome with the 2 guys with swords and a huge field, like a field of keyblades?
No, it's been
Like
It'll be
at
up
the
your
end,
press-
I
Mickey
feel like
walks
it's been
out.
years. Kingdom Hearts 2.
I thought, yeah, that's why I thought you were
when
gonna
I
ask how long has it been since 2, which is a good question.
I think it's like maybe.
Oh, 3?
It was like mid PS2 life cycle, no?
Yeah.
I can look it
So
up.
remember,
The handy dandy MacBook.
we had like a little discussion about the Kingdom Hearts earlier, and I remember a few of the guys mentioning that cinematic came out, which looked amazing, and
Yeah,
there's
okay.
just nothing about the game.
Nothing
Yeah.
afterwards.
And it feels like they're releasing sort of the remakes in HD now because they're worried like just kids will have no idea what game it is and they'll
Mhm.
buy it. So hopefully if
Um,
there's enough following for it.
It came out in 2006.
Oh wow.
For Kingdom Hearts 2.
Much later than I
Yeah.
thought. Which I loved, by the way. I actually thought was an enormous improvement over 1.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't think so. Like I honestly thought 1 was a little overrated. I loved it.
I love 1.
I
and then
loved
2
it, but
was
2
even
was
better.
fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
2 because 2 could have made a game with this story even without using the Disney characters, because I loved the whole Organization 13 like storyline. That was great.
That was crazy.
It might even be Star Wars in it this time around as well.
Oh,
Yes.
Wow. Oh my god.
Yes.
Think about that.
Don't forget Marvel.
And
And
Marvel, yeah.
Marvel.
Can you imagine just like Wolverine just
Iron
like
Man, Han Solo.
they have a lot. Well, maybe that's why it's taking so long.
Maybe.
Ah.
Because their
Having
next
an
purchase
extra
could be
level.
Leia.
Now, if they said that, I'd be
Oh.
much happier, but we don't know this
Yeah.
for a fact.
Yes, we're giving them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Which
I mean, they have. It's been
I'm gonna
what?
get my hopes up.
2006. Now it's 2013. They had more than enough time to polish this game and put it out.
True enough.
And then 2 more, you know.
But they were so focused on the PSP games. But
You know, the HD remix, because you gotta do that.
Andy, second game.
Well, you already said one of my.
I think it was.
That was
I think it was
told
all
about.
of ours. I just had to be the
Metal
one
Gear
to
Solid
say
5.
it.
I want to say Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2. Because I'm a huge fan of the reboot by Mercury Steam. I was a bit let down by the 3DS game, the Mirror of Fate.
Mhm.
But it does act as a bridge between Lords of Shadow and Lords of Shadow 2. I just want to see where it's going to go. I'm not sure how familiar you are with that franchise, about the ending of the first game.
I did not beat the first game.
Do you want to know the ending?
Yeah,
It's
go for it.
pretty amazing. It's
I don't
pretty-
care. They might.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
So, at the end of Lord of Shadow, Gabriel Belmont actually becomes Dracula. And he's like holed up in a castle, and it's like set in the future. And now, exactly, it's like, wow. So, part 2, you play as Gabriel trying to reclaim his powers. They've showed very
Trying to
little.
regain his humanity. Are you?
Well, no, his powers.
His powers.
Because he's been in slumber for a little bit of time. and
So he's cool with being Dracula.
Of course, he loves it.
Oh,
Why
awesome.
not?
Alright.
No. He hates it, but whatever. I want to see more gameplay. They've showed snippets here and there in their last trailer. Now it's like the time for Konami to come forward and okay, here's our game. Here's where we're going with this. Here's our new magic system. Here's his abilities. Because now it's like more than just the whip. It's about his sword, his Dracula powers. It's a whole new dynamic that we're talking about. A whole different kind of game altogether. So I want to see where they want to take it. Because this is actually their last game that they're going to make for this trilogy of Lords of Shadow. And it's going to go off with a bang, I feel. And they're going to put all their effort into making it into like one of, I think, the best Castlevania games ever created.
And this is a game that I agree with you. I think is ready for gameplay to be shown.
Yeah.
It's definitely there, and I would definitely be open to seeing it. I don't hate the game, the Castlevania Lords of Shadow. I just simply didn't finish it. I would definitely be willing to go back to it if Castlevania Lords of Shadow 2 absolutely blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean, the first game, it was a bit of a God of War, Shadow of the Colossus hybrid, but that didn't make it a bad game. It was an amazing game.
No, I didn't make it a bad game, but it did bring it down
A little bit. I mean, it didn't get out of the box, but I think with this game, it has a chance to actually come out of that mold and make something even better with the world that they've all created. And
I hope you're right.
And Dark Souls 2. Just want to sneak that in there.
That's for you, Justin. All right, I'm gonna close it out, and
Dark Souls 2?
this is gonna be a very interesting reaction, I believe, from everybody.
Okay.
But we all know by now, or maybe we don't, but here it is. Square Enix said that they are going to reveal a new Final Fantasy game during E3.
They did.
What is it though? Are we finally gonna see Versus 13?
No,
or
it's Final Fantasy
is it gonna,
14 too.
Is it gonna be another one? And now I fought for this. I fought for you, Square Enix. I did.
You're a fool.
And you have done nothing but let me down since, I guess I'll say 12. Because 12 is decent. But now I need to see that you have the conviction and the faith to put so much into whatever this title is going to be that you are going to change my mind about you not being able to captivate my heart with the words Final and Fantasy anymore. Because Lightning Returns, that's gonna... Alright, clear it out. That's the Lightning Trilogy. We had the Ezio Trilogy for Assassin's Creed. Now we have the Lightning Trilogy. Close it out and show me what this is.
Spoiler alert. Final Fantasy X-3.
You know what? I wouldn't mind that. In any case, I'm sure we can assume that, what a troll would this be if it's like a Final Fantasy VII HD remake. That
It's not gonna happen.
all
Oh
of
my
these
God.
bitches...
It's never gonna happen.
I'm-
No, it's never gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen.
It is not gonna
And
happen.
actually, I would not appreciate that either. I mean, like, as much as I would love to see that, show us...
You will play that after you play Killer Instinct 3. That's when you play that game.
I like Killer Instinct 3. But anyway...
Doesn't exist.
I want to see Killer Instinct 3. I mean,
It's not gonna happen either.
oh, shut up. But
You don't play Psychonauts 2? That's coming out also.
Dark Souls 5. But anyway,
That may actually happen.
but I mean, it's gonna happen. There's nothing we can do about it, barring like a serious change in plans on developers' parts. So if it's going to happen, let it be different. Let it be awesome. And if it is versus, let it be. Just let it be awesome, please. I know you don't deserve the last chance. I know I shouldn't be hopeful, but I'm curious. I want to see it. Let's just do this. Get it out of the way. Wow me.
Final Fantasy 15.
If it is, then I don't know.
It's an FPS.
Let me play as a Moogle. So that is our E3. That is our E3 expectations. We do hope that we get to see a lot of the games that we discussed with you today, and there are a lot of other games that we're sure we will see. The Evil Within, which I'm actually sure you didn't say. I'm surprised you didn't say.
Oh well, because they've shown no gameplay. They had one like real time like actor teaser and then a couple of screenshots. It's fine. I mean, I want to see Shinji Mikami's work, but I don't have enough to go on to be like, I really want to see more. Okay, well, I'll see more when I see more.
Hopefully, we will see more at E3.
We most definitely will see
in
more.
addition to The Evil Within, I'm sure we will see something more about Beyond Two Souls, which I'm very excited to see. Since last year.
You mean Ellen Page the game?
Ellen Page the game.
But that's The Last of Us.
Ellen Page the game and Willem Dafoe as her support.
Willem Dafoe the game?
Willem Dafoe, the sub game. And The Witness, which is Jonathan Blow's follow-up to Braid, which...
The Witcher 3, I want to see
The
more
Witcher
of.
3. The Witcher
Not on your list, is it?
as you see, there is an etc. Etc. means more that I have not listed, but
I
yes.
hope there are good surprises though, like
Yeah.
games that we didn't.
I want to see some really good world premieres.
Yeah.
I want to see games that I was like, I had no idea that was going to be made.
Exactly.
Typing on the Dead 2.
Well, I know,
Yes.
I know for the Xbox One, they did say they had, was it 8 titles unannounced so far that they're going to show at E3.
Mhm.
Halo 5.
Is that what they announced at this point?
Halo 4, Halo 5 Wars.
Halo the movie!
Halo was a original launch title on Xbox 360, so maybe
They'll have
if
one.
we're lucky, they'll have a game on that level.
Halo is Microsoft's Mario,
I think so.
and that would make sense. I guess we should mention at least one Nintendo game before we close this out. I want to see the new Super Smash Brothers. I want to see the new Super Smash Brothers. This is
I
a
want to see Nintendo Land 2.
Oh, I don't care what you want to see. Because not only, I mean, as a fighting game fan, obviously, I love Smash Brothers, and yes, I am categorizing it as a fighting game. It is a guilty pleasure for me. I think it is for a lot of people. It's a fun game. However, there are some interesting partnerships that Nintendo has established in recent memory that may change the face of Super Smash Brothers, and one of those is with Atlas.
Oh.
So you want to see what, Catherine in your next Smash Brothers game? You want to see Vincent?
I want to see some serious Mega 10 presence in Super Smash Brothers. I don't care if it's just like demons coming out of whatever, like how Pokemon come out of Pokeballs. I mean, I seriously think there needs
Why
to be...
squander that relationship? If you're gonna go for it, fucking go for it.
No, like well, new characters definitely. I would like to see the Demi Fiend from Nocturne as a character. I think Persona has had their exposure into other genres. I mean, it would still be cool to see Narukami from Persona 4, or even other characters from 3, or even bring it back to 2. But there is a fighting game for Persona already, which gives all these characters their exposure.
There's a template already for them in a fighting game sense. So just put that over in Smash Brothers.
Exactly. So
And Mega Man.
and Mega
I want to see
Man.
Mega Man.
It's never gonna happen. Andy.
No, it's gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen.
Sonic happened.
Yeah, Sonic did have.
All right, see, she's with me.
It's never gonna happen. So we like to, obviously, to close out all of our podcasts with a personal discussion topic. Today is no different. So since there is a very strong underlying theme of competitive gaming with what we've been doing today, I want to ask you all this: what is the one competitive or multiplayer game, if you don't compete as you play it, competitive or multiplayer game that you are terrible at, but you still love playing?
Well, I think I touched on this earlier. I'm I wouldn't say terrible. I'm in very new, like beginner to League of Legends. It's a very difficult game in terms for me to get into with an FPS background. First time I haven't played many MMOs until I sort of branched into Neverwinter League. So that is a game that is very challenging for me to get into, but it's also very rewarding when you do manage to outwit players, because it has a lot of sort of you have to learn how to play, and then there's also like a kind of like a chess. In the terms of chess thing, you do get this like whole, you start to wrap up and you like kind of outwit players, outsmart them, and
It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you've
it's very,
achieved
very
something.
competitive. It's a huge like sort of thrill factor and team working factor to it for me. So
I only played one match, but my friends started kind of getting me interested in StarCraft.
Oh.
And I want to learn. I've always watched my friends play when I was really
Good
young.
choice.
Didn't understand what it was, and I make fun of my friends when they're playing it. I'm like, it's futuristic huts because they put down little things, you can move out of it, and they hate it because they're like, what is this? But it's. I feel like you have to control the little MIDI parts, so it would probably make my brain move more if I like.
I feel like
learned
that
it.
would be, I wouldn't say an easy transition, but a good transition from League of Legends
Yeah,
for you.
to
I feel
that.
like that you'd be able to pick up
Now
on
it's
StarCraft
like
pretty
now
quickly.
it's starting to make more sense to me. Like after playing League, watching other games that are very similar, I want to branch out and learn. Why do people play and like how to play these games now.
Very cool, StarCraft. Andy.
I'm gonna say Mario Kart. I'm not very good at it. I'm actually sort of the worst at it. I mean, I try to be good. I really try. I mean, I've been training for a very long time. But whether I'm first place or 8th place, I'm just like, let's go again. Let's keep going.
Andy, I'm not quite sure what's worse, that you suck at Tetris or you suck at Mario Kart.
Well, I can't drive in real life. I can't drive a car in a virtual sense either.
Try go-karting.
There you go.
What if I crash and burn?
You can't.
Then be thankful that there wasn't
I'll
a real
pull it off
car.
somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Interesting.
just, I like the thrill of grabbing items and using red shells, or throwing down like 8 banana peels in a row, or like getting that lightning bolt.
And still finishing in 8th.
Yeah, it still feels good. Like, to fuck someone over, like, or a blue shell that first place asshole. I mean, it just feels so rewarding. But again, whether I'm like getting like lapped, I still love playing the game.
Going in reverse.
And yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not about coming in first for me. It's more about just playing the game and having fun,
yeah.
and just trying to get that drafting down because it's really, really hard.
All
Someone
right.
like me.
Respect. I'm going to go ahead and it's going to be interesting because it's coming from a genre that I consider myself to be quite good in, Mortal Kombat. I'm terrible at Mortal Kombat. And oddly enough, it doesn't translate quite like that to Injustice. Granted, I'm not tournament tested in Injustice yet, but I feel like I've picked it up much better than Mortal Kombat.
Don't they have like Street Fighter controls in Injustice?
No. It is very much like a Mortal Kombat game in almost every sense of the engine. And it falls under the same community. And the Mortal Kombat community, whenever I tune into like an FGC stream, or if I'm, whatever I'm paying attention to, and that, like, from what I understand, they're a very accommodating, very cool group of people, and very welcoming group of people. And it's a popular game not only in watching it and going, wow, this is a lot more brutal than like Street Fighter. I get to see people actually dying, but because this group of people have put so much time and effort into bringing it to the forefront of the FGC and making it one of the most watched games in there. I wish I was better at it. That's all. I mean, like, I'm so terrible that like I consider my best character to be Kung Lao. And if I bring him on land, chances are I might get like one round off of somebody, but my win-loss record is so horrendous. It's just not what I'm used to. Like, I'm a Marvel player, I love Marvel, and I can hold my own in Street Fighter, I can hold my own in Injustice, but for some reason Mortal Kombat just doesn't work out for me. So I wish I was better in that, definitely.
But you keep coming back though. Well, what makes you want to come back to it if you're so horrible at
It's
it?
fun. It's fun. I mean, like, you get to see some of the most like brutal moves done, and then when you do, kind of similar to how Wintergore mentioned about the achievement factor in League of Legends, I love it when I actually do win a match, where it's like, yes, I did something, because there's a lot more skill involved in Mortal Kombat than there is in games like Marvel, which a button masher could win.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. So that is it, folks. That's a wrap. And we're going to definitely close out with an Injustice stream. We'll probably do a little bit more streaming. We'll put them up for your viewing pleasure.
Yes.
But as far as our beautiful faces here, it's over.
I'm not including yours.
So I just want to very quickly thank you very much to our special guests, Alymew, Wintergore. Thank you for joining us. It has been
You guys have been
great.
such a treat.
It has been
Thank
a
you.
lot of fun.
Seriously.
And
We're humbled by you
Aw.
in real life and in Call of Duty.
And before we go, keep an eye out. Games Abyss has a very, very big giveaway opportunity
Huge.
coming up. It is huge. Absolutely. Now, close out. Be sure to follow Alymew. Where can they find you on Twitter and on YouTube?
Yeah, they can find me on Twitter at Alymew and on YouTube, Alymew Gaming.
And Wintergore.
Mine's for Twitter, Facebook, YouTube is just Wintergore. So
Wintergore.
That's easy.
Twitter, you can find me at SaveUsMatt, all one word.
And I am at Pants Guy.
And we are at Games Abyss.
Games Abyss.
Follow us. We love you. You love us. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much again.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
And cheers to you
That
guys.
is a wrap.
Clink.
Clink.
I'm out of booze. I need more.
We can fix that.